Hello everyone, Revan619 here, and we are on another episode of Hot Trash Clickbait YouTubers try to sell you to get you to click their video. Honestly, I think one of the biggest issues with Elden Ring being a mainstream success is we have attracted such a low tier level of YouTuber that is only here to try and just get clicks out of the system. They don't care what misinformation they put out or what nonsense they put out. All they care about is your clicks. And unfortunately, it floods the algorithm to the point where you can't see any useful information. So I want to look at one of these again, and this is something that I was trying to find some information on a spell, and all I could find was these clickbait YouTubers putting out misinformation again on what the best and most OP build is. So I just want to quickly show something about soft caps, because this is something really simple that people could check that they never do, and I guess it's why it's so infuriating. So we're going to use the Bandit's Cold Curve Sword and the Scavengers, which pretty much the same but with some bleed damage, just to give an example of this. And this is with Cold Infusion. So if I level this up on Cold Infuse all the way to 50 here, you can see that we've got 499 AR on one, 464 on the other. And then after we get to 50, we start seeing a little bit of slowdown. So if we go all the way up to 80, we can see 517 and 483 here. But if we go back down to 50, and then go up in dex, say let's only go up by 30, so we'll go up to 45 here. So we've got the same point investments. Yeah, can you see the difference in AR there? That's 565 compared to 517. Now, I don't know how well you know math, but yeah, these are not the same. These are not the same at all, are they? The reason is because once you hit a certain soft cap, you'll start getting reduced scaling. So then it comes down to how many points you want to invest for the number of AR. Maybe if you are doing something that does require higher intelligence, because say you've got weapon art that's going in for that. But in this case, the guy is actually using a glitch to try and do damage. So this could be way more optimized. He was going up to 30 mind. Again, we don't need to. We drop down 16. He was going really up in the old Vig. Well, he actually wasn't going up in Vigor at all. He only had 35. He wasn't using any Vigor at all. This man was playing at 160 here. But we could easily drop to much lower and actually get more out of it. So even with just 25 dex, I have more AR than he would have at 80, and I've got a better stat spread at 125 than he does at 160. So let's have a look at this build, and let's have a look at this person I'm talking about. So today on one of the videos that was suggested, we are looking at Firesparks81, and as you can see by his builds, this is busted, ultra rare resources, DPS god, the real fastest weapons, true dex weapons, not this, 99 strength first. Basically, it's all clickbait. Fire mage, insane damage, how to deal god tier damage. It's all just massive information over and over and over and over. And the big build that he's pushing forward here is a legitimate glitch that we are all very familiar with. As you remember, Fire's Deadly Sin has some interesting interactions with quite a few things, and some of them, that includes weapon buffs, have not all been fixed. They did, however, manage to fix it for using it with Curse. However, they didn't fix it for Bleed and Frost AoEs, so you can just run up to people causing massive bleed and massive frost. And this is the build that this guy is pretty much pumping out here. He's telling you to use an obvious exploit that's going to get patched in the next one. Now, it's one thing to cover an exploit, to try and get it out there, to try and get it fixed. It's another thing to tell people that this is a legitimate build and what they should be aiming to create. So as you can see, my man, 160, 35 Vidga, so squishy. 30 mind, doesn't need that. 30 endurance, doesn't need it when you've only got 13 poise, 15 strength, 15 dexterity, don't really need either of them. 80 intelligence, as once again you saw, don't need that. He's got 25 faith because he wants to use a buff, because all these clickbait YouTubers seem to care about is raw AR, and Golden Vow makes your AR look better, so better build, better build. Hell, he's even got one weapon here that's occult infused. And again, he's put on magic clutch ring with no defenses, so he is incredibly squishy. He's put on the multi-hit talisman, which, yes, that does more than the prosthetic, but however, because this weapon gets good scaling from dex, you'd actually want to use Millicent's prosthetic here. Instead, he's put on the extended spell durations because obviously he wants Fire's Deadly Sin glitch to last longer, and he's using the buff on the weapon here for Frost and Fire's Deadly Sin, and he's using obviously the Raptors both for the jump and the actual cloak. So the actual build in itself is a gimmick of you use AoE exploit to cause status whilst jump attacking. Ooh, we haven't seen that before. It's not like everyone's been putting out this rubbish for weeks. But yes, that's his whole concept here, is that this is the build. This is his saying that it's broken. And yes, it is broken in the fact that it's a glitch. And you're not even using it as effectively as you could. It could be so much better if you actually decided to optimize the stats, but I don't know why they never do. Hell, why is he even using the bandits when he's using the bandits instead of the scavengers, when yes, the scavengers has less AR, but it also has bleed. So if you're going for PvE and you're talking about time to kill, the bleed is gonna kill quicker. Hell, this version of the build is actually better if you use the bleed AoE because it will constantly proc, whereas Frost will only proc once. Yes, they'll take increased damage afterwards, but they won't keep getting that massive damage proc. So again, he's using the exploit inferior to what he could be using the exploit for. And yeah, it's just... the stats are just so bad. Why won't people learn where the breakpoints are? Like, 25 is a great weight breakpoint, if not 20, because you get enough stamina. You don't need to go that high in mind. Why are you over-leveled with such low vigor? These are the people that will tell you that, oh, it's not toxic to attack people as they're coming into the world whilst I'm sitting there with 3 buffs, because they'll two-shot me anyway. Yeah, because you have no vigor and armor. Christ, invest in some vigor and armor. It's getting so tedious to see so little good information in the community. Like, oh god, at this point, I honestly miss seeing suggestions from, like, Ouroboros and Peeve, because, yeah, they weren't the best at PvE, but they didn't pump out misinformation. They weren't the best at PvP either, but at least they understood the mechanics and how to roll. It's not like this rubbish where it's just like... they're just over-leveling everything. They don't need it. He doesn't need the strength. He doesn't need the dex. He doesn't need the mind. He's got too low vigor. He doesn't need the endurance. He has no poise. It's got too much intelligence. It's not good for PvE or PvP. It's so unfortunate. Luckily, so far this time, he's only got 12k views on it, but that's because the video only came out yesterday. That's probably going to be 100k views days. Say it with most of his stuff, but... yeah, avoid creators like this. If they're clickbaiting with misinformation, avoid them. If they're trying to sell you something, avoid them. The second someone has a Patreon in their bio, a shop in their bio, or if they're encouraging you to donate money, or if they're encouraging you to use a scam website, and then they're just putting out misinformation clickbait, avoid. It is not worth your time, and I'm gonna pop in with one of these. Yeah. That's it. Bad build. Like, 2 out of 10. It's the idea is there, but there's better ways to use the glitches. It's not optimized. He's not using the best weapons for it. He's trying to do 2 completely separate gimmicks with the jump attack gimmicks. And yeah, it's just not good. And it's obviously it's an exploit that's going to get patched out. So by the time a lot of people are going to get around to actually going through the game to set up a new build for this, it'll probably be patched because obviously we got the curse one patched, and people do realize that there are still ways that you can do it with the bleed. I think Stilovsky even did a special fight club where they were all using the AoE bleed ability of Fire's Deadly Sin. So that was an interesting video. I would highly suggest go and check out Stilovsky to see that. But yep, that's all I've got for today. I'll see you next time. If you have any creators that make good builds that you want me to review, I want to give a build a 10. Like, there are some creators I know that do put out builds where even if I personally would change some stats, I would still say their build's a 10 out of 10 because they know what they're doing, the information's good, they're not over-leveled, it doesn't matter if they're playing 120 or 150, but the concepts and the information they're putting out isn't setting people up for failure. And unfortunately, the only reason I haven't reviewed the content creators I know is because I don't want to just promo my friends all the time. So if you guys know any creators that I'm not aware of that are doing good stuff, do let me know. Hopefully we can get out some more positivity and get some people some better information so people know who to look to get some information leaders out there. Anyway, I'm out and hope you all have a good rest of your day.